Let me say something most people won't. You're not safe. Right now. One hospital bill, one job loss, one unexpected hit, and your entire life starts slipping. Not slowly, fast, because what feels like stability is actually a fragile setup that only works as long as nothing goes wrong. And the moment it does, everything you built starts to crack. And the scary part, you won't see it coming, because right now, everything feels under control. Bills paid, money in your account, maybe even some savings sitting there, giving you peace. You wake up, go to work, live your life, and nothing feels wrong. That's the illusion. From the outside, you look stable, but underneath, there's pressure building, a weak point you don't notice because nothing has tested it yet. And the moment life does, not slowly, not gently, everything starts to collapse faster than you ever imagined. Meet Jake, 28 years old, regular guy. He's not rich, but he's not struggling either. Makes around $65,000 a year. To him, that feels like progress. He upgraded his life slowly. A nicer apartment, a car he's proud to drive, weekend dinners with friends, a few subscriptions he barely thinks about. Nothing crazy, just a normal life that finally feels stable. Every month he pays his bills, and there's a little left, not enough to feel rich, but enough to feel safe, like he's doing things right, like he's moving forward. Then one day, something small changes, a random pain in his side. He ignores it at first, thinks it'll go away, but it doesn't. It gets worse. So he goes to the hospital, tests, waiting rooms, more tests. Then the bill shows up, $8,700. He just sits there, staring at it, quiet, trying to process how something so normal turned into something so expensive. Insurance helps, but not enough. So he does what most people do. He puts it on a credit card. Just for now. Minimum payments, interest quietly stacking in the background. Life keeps moving, but now there's pressure. Then a month later, another hit. His company cuts hours, not fired, just less income, enough to hurt. Now the math doesn't work anymore. Rent is coming. Bills don't stop. The credit card balance keeps growing. And for the first time, Jake feels it. That tight feeling in his chest. That constant stress in the back of his mind. He starts losing sleep. Checking his bank app over and over. Trying to figure out how this got out of control. So fast. And within 60 days, everything changes. He goes from, I'm doing okay, to sitting alone at night, thinking, I don't know how I'm going to survive this. No warning, no reckless decisions, no dramatic failure, just life, hitting a weak point he didn't even know existed. Here's the truth. No one tells you. You don't have a money problem, you have a fragility problem, because most people aren't actually stable. They're just temporarily balanced. Everything looks fine, as long as nothing goes wrong. Think about your own life for a second. How much of it depends on your next paycheck? How many things are locked in every single month? Rent, car payment, subscriptions you forgot about, food, insurance, phone bill, gas. It's not just spending, it's commitment. And the moment your income slows down, or something unexpected shows up, that entire system starts to shake, because it was never built to handle stress. It was built to feel comfortable. That's the illusion. You've been taught to upgrade your life, not protect it. You get a raise. And instead of building safety, you upgrade your lifestyle. Better apartment, better car, more convenience, more comfort. And it feels right. It feels like progress. Like you're finally moving forward. But what you're actually doing is increasing your pressure. Because now, your normal life costs more to maintain. Which means you need everything to go right. All the time. And that's where fragility lives. In a life that can't afford disruption, this is lifestyle inflation. It doesn't feel dangerous because it happens slowly, quietly, one upgrade at a time, until one day you realize your entire life depends on stability you don't control. And then there's debt. This is where the trap tightens, because debt doesn't feel like danger at first. It feels like flexibility. It feels like control. You can afford it. It's just monthly payments. Everyone does it. And for a while, it works. You swipe the card, you get what you want. Nothing breaks, life continues. But underneath that calm surface, something is building, pressure. Because every payment you add reduces your freedom. Every balance you carry adds weight to your life. And the worst part, you don't feel it immediately. It's slow, silent, almost invisible, until one day, something small goes wrong. And suddenly, those small payments aren't small anymore. They stack, they stretch your limits, they expose how little room you actually have. And that's when it hits you. You're not in control, you're committed, trapped in a system that only works. When everything goes perfectly, and when it doesn't, you don't collapse because of one problem. You collapse because everything was already tight, already stretched, already fragile. So now, you're not living, you're not growing, you're not building anything real, you're just maintaining, barely holding it together, hoping nothing else goes wrong. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. This isn't just your fault, it's the system you're living in, because everything around you is designed to make you spend, not prepare. Look around, every ad, every social feed, every success story you see pushes one message: upgrade your life, buy better, live bigger, show it. And when you do, you get rewarded, not with money, but with attention, respect, validation. You pull up in a nice car, people notice. You move into a better apartment, people assume you're doing well. You buy the latest phone, you feel like you're keeping up. It feels good, it feels like progress. But none of that means you're secure, because nobody celebrates boring wealth. Nobody claps for the person who quietly saves. Nobody posts about their emergency fund. Nobody shows the months they didn't upgrade anything. So naturally, people chase what gets seen, status, not stability. And slowly, without realizing it, you build a life designed to look strong, instead of one that actually is. Now let's talk about your salary, because this is the biggest illusion of all. A paycheck feels like safety. It feels predictable, reliable, like something you can count on, but it's not security, it's dependency. Your entire life is tied to one source, one stream, one decision that's not even fully in your control. And as long as that paycheck keeps coming, you feel okay, you feel stable. But the moment it stops, or even slows down, everything gets exposed. All those fixed expenses, all those commitments, all that pressure you didn't notice before. Suddenly, it's all visible. And that's when reality hits. Hard. You weren't stable. You were supported. Supported by a system that only works as long as nothing changes. But life changes. Jobs change. Health changes. Economy changes. And when it does, that illusion disappears. Fast. And people sit there thinking, how did this happen so quickly? But the truth is, it didn't happen quickly. It was always there. The fragility, the pressure, the dependency. You just couldn't see it, because everything was still working until it wasn't. And in that moment, people finally realized something they should have known earlier. I was never stable. I was just surviving comfortably. And here's the part most people don't want to hear. Even high earners are not safe. Yeah. The people you think have it all figured out, some of them are hanging on by a thread. There are people making $120,000, $150,000 a year, and still checking their bank account before every purchase. Still feeling that quiet stress in the back of their mind. Still one bad month away from panic. Sounds insane, but it's real. Because when income goes up, most people don't build safety. They build a bigger life, a bigger house, a nicer car, more upgrades, more comfort, more things to maintain. And with every upgrade comes more pressure, more responsibility, more to protect, more to lose. So now, it's not just about paying bills, it's about sustaining an entire lifestyle, one that looks impressive, but depends on everything going right. And when something goes wrong, it hits harder because there's no room, no buffer, no margin for error, just high expectations and heavy commitments. So the fall isn't slow, it's sharp, fast, unforgiving. And that's the trap nobody talks about. More money didn't fix the problem. It just made it easier to hide, easier to ignore, easier to pretend everything's under control. But underneath, same fragility, same dependency, just dressed up better. Because they didn't build real security. They built a bigger version of the same trap. And now, there's even more at stake. This is the moment where everything can change. Not your income, not your job, your awareness. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it. You start noticing things you ignored before. How tight your monthly life actually is. How dependent you are on everything going right. How one disruption would shake everything. And right here, you have a choice. Most people won't admit it. But this is the fork in the road. You either wake up or you go deeper into the illusion. Some people feel this discomfort and they listen to it. They slow down, they question their lifestyle, they start pulling back. Not because they're scared, but because they finally see the truth. They stop trying to look stable and start trying to be stable. They build space, they create breathing room, they choose control over appearance. But most people, they do the opposite. They feel this exact discomfort and they run from it. They open Instagram. They watch other people winning. They convince themselves they're fine. They tell themselves, I'm still young. I'll make more later. I'll figure it out. So they keep going, keep upgrading, keep adding pressure, keep stacking commitments on top of commitments. Because slowing down feels like falling behind. And nobody wants to feel behind. So they chase the same path harder, faster, deeper, without realizing they're building a life that looks better, but breaks easier. And the most dangerous part? Time passes quietly. Nothing dramatic happens. No big collapse. Just small signals. Ignored again and again. Until one day, life forces the lesson. Not gently, not when you're ready, but when you're exposed, when you don't have options left. And suddenly, that I'll figure it out later mindset comes back to hit you hard. Because later doesn't give warnings, later doesn't wait, later just shows up and asks a simple question. Are you actually ready? And for most people, the answer is no. So what actually changes this? Not more money, not another raise, not luck, because you can earn more and still be fragile. This starts with a shift, a hard one. Stop chasing comfort. Start building survival, because comfort feels good, but it disappears fast. Survival, that stays when things go wrong. First, you need a buffer, not for flexing, not for investing, not for someday, for protection. Because a real emergency fund isn't about money, it's about time. Time to breathe when something breaks, time to think clearly, time to not make desperate decisions. Without it, every problem becomes urgent, every decision becomes emotional, and that's where people make their worst moves. Second, reduce fragility. Not just your spending, your dependence. If your life only works with one income, that's fragile. If your bills leave you with no room, that's fragile. If one surprise expense stresses you out, that's fragile. This isn't about living small, it's about living strong. Strong people don't just earn more, they need less to stay okay. They build space into their life, so when something hits, they bend, they don't break. And third, stop upgrading your life blindly. This is where most people lose control, because every upgrade feels like success. Better place, better car, better lifestyle. But every upgrade comes with weight. More bills, more pressure, more responsibility, and less freedom. So instead of asking, can I afford this? Ask something better. Can I still carry this if my income drops? Can I survive and not panic? Because that question exposes the truth. It cuts through the illusion. It forces you to see whether you're building a strong life or just a good-looking one. And once you start thinking like this, everything changes. Your decisions slow down, your priorities shift, and for the first time, you're not just living, you're actually preparing. Because the truth is, you're not poor, you're not careless, you're not even that far behind. From the outside, your life probably looks fine. Bills paid, income coming in, everything moving. But that's not the full picture, because stability isn't about how things look, it's about how they hold up when life hits you. And right now, for most people, it wouldn't hold for long, not because you failed, but because you were never taught to build strength, only to keep up appearances. So you built a life that works, but only under perfect conditions. And life doesn't stay perfect. It never does. So this isn't about fear. It's about awareness, because once you see it, you can change it before life forces you to. Because at the end of the day, you're not poor, you're not broken, you're not unlucky. You're just one emergency away from seeing the truth. If this made you uncomfortable, good. That feeling, that tightness in your chest, that little voice in your head saying this is a bit too real, that's not fear, that's awareness. And most people avoid it. They scroll past it, ignore it, tell themselves it doesn't apply to them. Until one day, life forces them to face it, and by then, it's not a lesson anymore. It's damage control. That's the difference. Some people learn early, others learn when it's already too late. So ask yourself honestly, which one are you going to be? The one who waits or the one who wakes up? Because nothing changes until you decide it matters. And if something in this video hit you, even a little, don't ignore that. That's your signal. That's your moment. So don't just watch and move on. Do something with it. Start thinking differently. Start questioning your setup. Start building something real. And if you want more videos like this, the kind that don't just motivate you, but actually wake you up, hit subscribe, because the next one might not just open your eyes, it might change how you live.